All right, 1.1. 3 things we need to concentrate on, okay? First one, there's 3 words. You have numerical expressions, variable expressions, and the word evaluate. Okay, those are the 3 things that we've got to really make sure we get down in this section, because those things are going to be used throughout the book. Those terms, what we do with those things, they're going to be used throughout this book. So we've had these before. We've had the definitions before, okay, but we're obviously going to re-emphasize them here. Okay, a numerical expression is numbers with some type of mathematical operation. Okay, so basically, this numerical expression is what you've been doing ever since you were very young. 2 plus 2, 3 plus 9, 4 times 5, 6 minus 2, anything like that. That would be numerical expressions. Okay, you've seen those, you've known those. Those are the ones that we really looked at a lot. Variable expressions. Okay. Variable expression, I'm going to give you pretty much the definition out of the book. Okay. A variable expression consists of variables, numbers, and some type of operation. Okay, let's remember what a variable is. A variable is a letter or symbol that represents a numerical value. Okay? A variable is some type of letter or symbol, usually a letter, that represents some type of numerical value. Okay? Now, the numerical value could be a whole expression. It could be, x equals, like x plus 4 plus 2 or something like that. Okay? But usually for our purposes right now, the variable is going to be representing one number. Okay? And whatever that number it represents, it will represent it throughout the whole expression. All right? Now, so a variable expression consists of variables, numbers, and some type of operation done to it. Okay? So an example of a variable expression would be 4x plus 5. Okay? 3 over x. Okay? 22 minus y. Okay, those are all examples of variable expressions. Okay, they have a variable in them. You could even have x plus y. Okay, that would be a variable expression as well. Doesn't have to have numbers, but it does have to have at least one variable in it. If I just say 4 plus 5, that's a numerical expression, not a variable expression. So it has to have at least one variable in it. It can have more than one variable. Okay, it can have multiple variables. Eventually, we'll get to ones that look like this. X squared plus 3x plus 9. Okay, x squared plus 3x plus 9. That could be a variable expression. All right, it's what we call a trinomial, but it is a variable expression. All right, that leads us to the word evaluate. Evaluate, first of all, is a process. The word evaluate in mathematical terms means it's a process. The process basically includes two steps. One, substitution, and two, simplify. Okay, one, substitution, two, simplify. Okay, now, let me give you an example of that. Let's say I have the variable expression a plus b, where a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 4. Okay, so we have the variable expression a plus b. Well, the first thing I have to do is plug in these values for those variables. So that means I have 2 plus 4. Okay, now what is 2 plus 4? 6. Okay, so here is substitution. Right here, that's substitution. And then go from here to here is to simplify. Okay, what does the word simplify mean? Somebody tell me what the word simplify means. Haley?
Where you add the
No. No, not to solve. You're sort of around it, and you said get to a smaller amount. Well, you're still... Okay, yeah, it means to take the expression to its lowest terms. Okay, simplified does not mean the answer. Okay, that's why I told Haley that wasn't it. It's not the answer necessarily. Okay, let me give you an example of why it's not the answer all the time. I could have this problem right here, 3 times x plus 4. Okay, if I simplify that, the simplified answer of that is 3x plus 12. Okay, that's it. I can't go any further. That's my answer. Okay, so that's simplified. This is simplified. So, simplified does not mean that you have to have one number left and nothing else. Okay, it means that you take the expression, whether it's a numerical expression or a variable expression, you take it down to its lowest terms, simplest form, lowest name. Those are all synonymous terms. Okay, those all mean the same thing. All right. Now, in our particular case for this specific problem, yes, I ended up with a one-number answer. Okay. So some of these, most of the ones you're going to deal with, yes, you're going to come up with a one-numbered answer. Okay? So that's what evaluate means. Okay? So let's try another one. Let's go with...
Coach Matt, could you call 301, please?
Okay, let's go with A times B with A and B having the same values. Okay, so do that one on your own. A, B, where A and B are equal to, A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 4. Okay, when you have two letters together, what does that mean you do? Multiply. Okay, when there's no symbol between the two letters, obviously A plus B meant that we add. A and B means A times B. Okay, when you have the answer to that, raise your hand. Copeland? 8. That is correct. Now, Here is why. The directions tell you evaluate for the given value of the variable, okay, or for the given values. So if I have A times B, if I substitute I guess people think that I don't teach. All right. So we substitute in the values, 2 and 4, okay, and so it's 2 times 4, and then obviously you simplify it, which is the easy part for this one. You simplify to 8, okay? So the substitution was taking 2 and 4, this, changing the A to a 2 and the B to a 4. That's the substitution part. Right now we're just dealing with numbers. Eventually you may have whole expressions that you've got to put in there. But for right now it's just, like we said, numbers. Okay? I want you to do 25 on your own. Do number 25 on your own. And 25 says C over A. Now it has A2 there, but it's 4 here. 25. C over A. Oh, we've had them reversed. My bad. Okay. All right, Anthony, what'd you get? 4. That is correct. Okay. C is equal to 16. A is equal to 4. I had them reversed. We've been saying A is 2, and I had them reversed up here. So you may have gotten 8. Okay, you may have gotten 8, which is fine. But basically, we take these values, plug them in here for each of the letters. And that gives us 16 over 4, which just means you're dividing. Remember, 4 is on the outside, 16 on the inside. And that gives me 4 over 1. Okay? We want to simplify it, so 4 over 1 would not be correct, because that's not the simplest name for 4. Okay? 4 is obviously the simplest name. Okay? Now, let's turn the page and look at number 32. Number 32 says write a verbal expression for the phrase. Okay? Write a verbal expression to represent the phrase. Okay? The first phrase they give us is the product of 72 and a number. So the product of 72 and a number. Okay, first of all, what does the word product mean? If you've forgotten, multiplication. If you have forgotten, on page 7, there's a table of words for each operation. Right in the middle of the page on page, 6, okay, there is a word bank for each mathematical operation. The word product, as we stated, means to multiply. Okay, so when they say the product of 72 and a number, okay, that would be 72 times a number. Well, we don't know what the number is, so we'll say M. Okay, you do not need the multiplication sign. So we want to write that as 72M, and that's our answer. That's a variable expression because it has a variable in it and some type of mathematical operation. Okay, that's why it's a variable expression. Okay, so fairly simplistic, not real hard on that one. All right, let's look down at 41 through 48. Okay, it's one of the reasons I had you do the decimal stuff today in our little review yesterday and today. Let's look at number 42. Number 42 says B minus C, where B is equal to 15 and C is equal to 3.5. Okay, so they want us to subtract, then they want us to say 15 minus 3.5. Okay, so that's 15. Where's the decimal in the number 15? After the 5 there, behind the 5. So 3.5 then lines up like that. Okay, remember when you're adding and subtracting, those decimals have to be lined up. So now I just add a 0 right here, and I subtract. Well, when I subtract, I have to, 0 minus 5 I can't do, so that makes that a 4, make that a 10, make that a 5, bring down my decimal. 4 minus 3 is 1, so I have 11.5. So my answer is 11.5 to 15 minus 3.5. All right, let's look at 48. 48 says AC. So it says basically A times C, where A is equal to 2.5 and C is equal to 3.5. So I have to take 2.5 times 3.5. Okay, that means I have 2.5 times 3.5 . So now I just take 5 times 5, which is 25, carry my 2. 5 times 10, which is 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 would be 12. Bring down a 0. Then I have 3 times 5, which is 15, carry my 1. 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1 be 7. That would be 5, 7, 8. Now here's what I was talking about a while ago. You have 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. So I have 2 places. Okay, so I move it once, twice to right there. So 8.75. Now obviously, as I look at this, what's 2 times 3? 6. So you know your answer has to be larger than 6. So as you're moving your decimal, think logically through this. If I stop the decimal right there, what number would I have? 87.5. That's nowhere near 6. Okay? If I moved it all the way to here, I would have 0.875. That's nowhere near to 6. Okay? So if you'll use some estimating like that to get you going, it'll help in the long run. All right, your homework. Your homework is 1.1, (12 through 37) and 39 through 48. Okay, remember that is due tomorrow. Due tomorrow. You may go.